All right, I am back with another petty pop up, real heavy on the petty. I'm just here to state my petty opinion. Everything said in this video is alleged and, in my opinion, and used for educational and entertaining purposes. All right, y'all. This recap is for House of the Dragon, which is a spinoff of Game of Thrones. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. Um, This series is based on George R. Martin's book of, I think the name of it is Fire and Blood. It's been inspired a lot by British royal history and the medieval era. I think that this is set 200 years prior to Game of Thrones. Um, so the story is very, very interesting, very good. There's going to be a lot of dialogue. It's because HBO has a much bigger budget than a lot of these little reality TV shows. They have a bigger budget for the casting, the costumes, and the different locations where they film the scenery. So there's a lot of a dialogue. They have writers who actually write this show. So there's going to be a lot. These videos will be a lot longer than my normal videos, not on purpose, but I really, really enjoyed Game of Thrones up until the very last episode where they kind of screwed it up for me. But anyway, since this is a spinoff of that, I thought that I would enjoy it as well. This is season two. For season one, I enjoyed that one as well, but I was not on YouTube at that time. And so we're going to start here with season two, episode one. The name of this episode is A Son for a Son, y'all. So let's go. Okay, so um the scene opens up with the voice of Cregan Stark, who is speaking about duty as um a member of the royal family or of a house with honor. He said duty is sacrifice. He was speaking about how the wall got started. He was saying that his ancestor Torrhen Stark began the wall by making an offering at the beginning of winter, where 1 in 10 men were offered to stand guard. There, he said that the North have to stand ready, and that it wasn't a sentence but an honor to serve at the wall. And so we see Cregan Stark taking Jace up the wall, and they're talking along the way. And Jace is reminding Cregan Stark about their oath. Cregan is saying that the North owes the Seven Kingdoms, and that his duty to the wall is more dire in the winter than it is to the Seven Kingdoms. He said he needs his men here. And he's taking Jace up where they can get a bird's eye view of, where they are. And when they get up there and he sees that view, it's breathtaking. He can't even speak. He is telling him that the Starks do not forget their oaths, He asked him, do you think that my ancestors built a 700-foot wall of snow and ice to keep out snow and savages? And Jace said, what does it keep out? And Cregan Stark said, death. And ironically, he mentions that he need his men at the wall, but he does have some graybeards that are well honed. And Jace said that mean they old. But he said that he could have them ready to march, and they will fight for the queen. Jace said if they can fight, the queen will have them. And at that point, Cregan Stark gets a raven. And in this raven is where Jace will discover that his brother Luke has been killed. Okay. So in the next scene, Rhaenys gets back off patrol, and as soon as she gets off of Meleese, Daemon comes in and tells her to get back on. We going to King's Landing, and Rhaenys was like, no, Meleese have to eat and rest, and so do I. And he was saying they need to go to King's Landing to kill Vhagar. And Rhaenys said, "Is this the Queen's command?" He said, "No, the Queen is absent." And he was trying to say she's shirking her duties by being absent. But Rhaenys can empathize with Rhaenyra because she said that it was a raven that brought her the news of her daughter Laena's death. And until she saw her mortal remains, she couldn't begin to grieve her. That the Queen was wise to take her leave. And so Daemon said, what if Aemon should happen upon her? And Rhaenys said, then I would pity Aemon. So he was like relentless trying to get her to go with him. He was like, fly with me, you know. And she was like, yeah, if you was the king, maybe I would, but you're not. So sorry, buddy, I'm going to get some rest. So in the next scene, they show Rhaenyra. I don't know where she is. I want to say maybe she's on the outskirts of King's Landing somewhere because it shows like these aerial scenes. But clearly she is mourning the loss of her son. Okay, next we go to Driftmark. They show everybody working on the boats trying to get them ready to go back into the water. We have Lord Corlys who meets with Alan, and he tells Alan he needs his boats ready to go back into the sea. Lord Alan says that he'll speak to his brother and see what he can do. Lord Corlys tells him that he knows that he is the one who dragged his body out of the sea. Alan said he was just doing his duty, and Lord Corlys told him that he owes him a debt. Alan goes and says that this was returned. It was, I guess it was on his person. Lord Corlys said that was something that he was having commissioned for Prince Lucerys, which is Rhaenyra's son who was killed. And he returned it to him. In the next scene, they showed the soldiers outside of King's Landing on guard. I thought it was interesting. They had one of these, I thought they called it a scorpion or something like that. These big arrows they used to kill the dragons, but they realized that it was Vhagar that was flying above, so of course they weren't going to kill their own dragon. But I thought it was interesting that 200 years prior to Game of Thrones, they had a method of killing the dragons. So next we see King Aegon looking for his son Jaehaerys. He went straight to the daughter because nobody can tell the son from the daughter. They look just alike. So he couldn't find them. He had to ask his wife, Queen Helaena, who is also his sister, where was he? And she was like, what do you want with him? She's like, you can't come in here disturbing his customs. And he was like, where is he? He didn't want to hear what she had to say. She was like, well, he in the library. So as he was walking out, she said that she was afraid. And he was like, oh, don't be afraid. They would be a fool to try to come in the city with Vhagar guarding the city. She was like, not the dragons, the rats. And everybody started looking around. It's like, the rats. Like, they try to play her like she crazy. So the king said, the queen, she is such an endearing mystery or something like that. Like, yeah, I know she's a little crazy, but she's really not crazy. She has like this perception of like maybe ESP or something. Like she knows things that are going to happen. I don't think she has mastered it yet, but she does know, like, you know, what's to come, as we can see, but they haven't learned how to take advantage of it yet. So anyway, okay, so in the next scene, they show Queen Alicent and Sir Christian Cole getting busy. They in there doing the doggone thing. Okay. Now, She tries to guilt trip him by saying that, we can't do this again. He was like, yeah, you're right. So anyway, it's mighty funny that these two were trying to villainize Rhaenyra for sinning, and here they are just sinning and doing way more than what Rhaenyra did. Isn't that funny how that works? How you pass judgment on people, and then people get to pass judgment on you. But anyway, I think this is going to continue, and this is going to be the undoing of both of them. We'll see. So, King Aegon II has found Jaehaerys in the library and brought him to the small council meeting with him. So while they're strategizing and telling him what they should do going forward and that war is imminent, he wasn't even paying attention. He more interested in his son being mischievous. His son down there wrestling with the master of coin, and he talking about he want him to give him a horseback ride. Anyway, so they send Jaehaerys out, and Aemon, his brother, comes in, and his mother was like, "What you doing here? You don't have no seat at this council." And King Aegon says that he invited him here. He's his best sword and closest friend. And Aemon gets up and helps them strategize and talk about how they should strategize going forward. And she was kind of resentful of him even being there. I think with Aegon on the throne, he's very manageable. They can tell him what to do, but they know that Aemon has a mind of his own, and that he wouldn't be as manageable as Aegon is. So I think that's why they put him on the throne, even though Aemon would probably be a much stronger king. So after the small council meeting, Queen Alicent goes to her room, and before she can get to her room, she sees Lord Larys standing outside. So Lord Larys calling Alicent out. He was like, I came over to have a word with you before the small council meeting, but your handmaid said you were indisposed. He was like, where you was at? What was up? And she was like, look, what you want? He was like, well, he feel confident that he got rid of all of the staff that betrayed their trust, and that she was like, well, what of them? What happened to them? And he was like, they no longer breathe our air. And he said, I chose all of your new staff personally. Okay, and so then Queen Alicent goes to take a bath. She got 1, 2, 3 attendants to help her bathe. And I think she just started thinking about it. It just didn't sit right with her. She probably felt dirty listening to Larys, and she sent them all out. She was like, you know what, I can take my own bath. Y'all just leave me alone. I don't blame you. Because baby, y'all ain't got nothing but spies in there, honey. You don't know who they spying for. If they spying for Larys or if they spying for Otto, but they spying for somebody. Okay? So next we see Queen Rhaenyra looking over this perch, and she hears the townspeople say that they found the wreckage or a dragon wing. So she gets on her dragon and she goes over there, scares the crap out of all the people, and she finds the wreckage of Prince Lucerys' dragon. Now, how did she find it? I don't know. Where is she? I don't know. Those are great questions, but she has found the wreckage of her son, and I guess now she can grieve Prince Lucerys. So next we have King Aegon sitting on the throne. He wanted to hear the petitions of the people. Okay, the first guy comes up talking about his sheep and how many sheep he has already given to the throne, and he tells the man that he's gonna make it right. He's gonna pay for the sheep. Well, Otto interjects and tells him, if you pay him for the sheep, then you gonna have to pay everybody. Everybody gonna be at your feet wanting pay. And he was like, we can't do that. We about to go to war, whatever. So he realizes that Otto is right, and he, takes it back, and he realized he looked crazy, taking back what he said. And he said, well, all the people won't know. And Otto was like, well, when the king speaks, everybody hears. So he had to take it back. Okay, So the next guy came, he talking about the iron costs, and he was telling the man he gonna be paid and that they can't win the war without the efforts of the small folk. And Otto just rolled his eyes. But um I think that King Aegon wants to be a good king. He's just terrible at it. He's just a bumbling idiot. And instead of taking the advice of those around him, I think he wants to do his own thing, and he just mess up at every turn. So Larys heard everything that happened while the king was listening to the petitioners, and he asked to speak with him afterwards. And he was telling him basically that Otto Hightower was his father's hand, and that he was just as controlling when he was his father's hand, and that basically he needed to pick his own hand was the seed that he was planting. But Larys is very sneaky, and he knows how to play people. He reminds me of Varys from Game of Thrones. Like, he was like king of the little whisperers, and he has a lot of spies planted around the castle, so he knows everything. So I think that's where the little whisperers started. But he is basically telling King Aegon that he need to pick his own hand, and that his grandfather is too controlling. So next we have Queen Alicent waiting to speak with her father, Sir Otto Hightower. And she was like, I requested an audience with you hours ago. And he was like, yeah, there were a lot of petitions. So she was trying to see if they was on the same team. She was like, are we still on the same team? Do we still have the same goal? And he was like, well, if that's what you wish, then yeah, we still on the same team. So she was like, I can feel your anger and he was like, no, not anger, frustration. And she was like, well, if you keep undermining me in front of those boys, that, you keep undermining my voice, and both of those boys will grow deaf to it. And he was like, well, I hadn't seen it that way. And she was like, well, we only need to mind Aegon until the novelty of rule goes away. In other words, so he get tired of being the king, then we can steer, our cause to victory. So in other words, they put him on the throne because they know they can control him, and they can't really control Aemon. And she thinks that Aemon still hates her because Prince Lucerys took his eye, and he feel like that he was never punished for it. But they're trying to make sure they're on the same team, and that they still have the same goals, and they assure each other that they do. Okay, so during their patrols, they find these boats out in the harbor, and while they are searching the boats, they find the white worm, Mysaria. Mysaria used to be Daemon's woman. Did y'all see season 1? This used to be Daemon's woman. So while Daemon is interrogating her, he asks her how long has she been feeding secrets to the Hightowers. She said as long as they had gold to pay for them. She told him, you only blame me because your true enemies are out of reach. Daemon been going around blaming everybody. She told him that she had nothing of value. She was nothing to him, that she wasn't nothing to Otto Hightower either. So Daemon left out. He told the guard that to take her to the cells and treat her as a traitor to the crown. But the guard, Sir Eric, he tried to stand up for her, and he was like, she's telling the truth. And Daemon was like, well, what is it to you? So then he turned around and blamed Sir Eric. He said, if you would have killed Aemon when you had the chance, then we wouldn't be here. So he just blaming everybody for everything. And in the midst of all this, Queen Rhaenyra has returned. Daemon asked her, did she find what she needed? She nodded her head yes. So Daemon goes back to Mysaria, and tries to get information from her. And she was like, boy, go ahead. And he was like, all your years of gossiping, then I know you have some spies planted. And she was like, look, I used to fool with you, but not no more. And so he was like, well, a transaction then for your freedom. So she gave him some information. While Daemon was scheming, Queen Rhaenyra was reuniting with her son Jace. He was reporting to his mother on his travels and his duty that he was sent on, and they both broke down, upset that Lucerys is gone. And while they were breaking down, they showed Alicent sitting around this table where they go to pray. And as she's praying, you clearly you hear her say Lucerys Valerian's name, as if she is asking for prayers for her son killing Lucerys. It looks like they had like a makeshift funeral. I've seen this before. I guess this is their funeral procession. I guess they burn their loved ones' items. I guess it's a Targaryen thing. But while everybody is out mourning the loss of Prince Lucerys, Daemon is yet scheming with the rat catchers with the information that he got from Mysaria. So Daemon told the rat catcher to kill Aemon Targaryen. He said he's got white hair and one eye. Shouldn't be too hard to find. He said, but I heard he's good in the fight, so be careful. So he gave him half of the money, told him he would get the other half when the job is done. Okay, so now we have Aemon and Sir Christian strategizing, speaking about how they should move in the war. So Aemon says that his mother is just angry, and Christian Cole was like what? He was like, his mother blames him for starting this war. Well, you kind of did. You kind of did start the war. And he said, she plotted with my father's counsel to usurp his throne. She said, your grace speaks with two tongues. Like she two-faced. So, Christian Cole couldn't have him talking about his woman like that. So he was like, well, she has a gentle heart. And Aemon said, she has love for her enemy that makes her a fool. So while they're talking, Sir Otto Hightower enters and says that he needs to speak with Prince Aemon alone. He tells Aemon that he shouldn't be plotting outside of the ear of the king. Aemon says he only wants to serve his king and his house. He said that, you'll have all the vengeance that you want, but you have to control your impulses. Because he was saying that we both know that your brother cannot. So the rat catcher and the other killer, they bumble around in the dark throughout the castle looking for Jaehaerys until they find Queen Helaena. They find Queen Helaena, and they can't decide which child is the boy child because they both look just alike. So they made her choose. She tried to stall them by giving them her necklace, and the guy took her necklace and said the necklace is not a son. So she realized the situation she was in. She could save one child or they could all die. I believe that's what she was thinking. So she pointed out the son. While they were killing the son, sawing his head off, Helaena took the daughter and they ran out. I don't think she really knew where she was going. She was just trying to get to safety. So she looked around. I guess she thought the best place to go was to her mom's room. So she goes in her mom's room. What is mom doing? Mom is riding Kristen Cole to oblivion, right? Mom is getting hella busy, right? So Kristen Cole and Queen Alicent are busted. So she asks Helena what happened. Helena tells her they killed the boy. So that was the end of the episode. Y'all, what did y'all think of the episode? I thought it was riveting. It was really, really good. I think the story writing is excellent. When they started with Craig and Stark, and we know Starks to be honorable men, it was just, the casting is just spot on. They had me right from the beginning. It was really, really good. The casting, the scenery, you can tell that this is a big budget series. Like, the story is really good. You can tell that it's very well written. So I think I'm going to enjoy this series. So what can we glean from this episode? So Aegon wants to be respected. He wants to be a good king, but he's an idiot. And I think they put him there for that purpose, because once he realizes he really doesn't have any power and he gets over the fact that he's the king, they think they can come in and take over. I think Aemon is laying in wait. In the spirit of Daemon, as the second sons go, I think he just laying in wait, waiting on his opportunity. Daemon just want to kill something to prove his dominance. He just want to show you that he got it. And Kristen Cole is pussy whipped. So there you go. If I had to pick a favorite scene, do y'all have a favorite scene? I would say when Rhaenyra's son Daemon, she was like, boy, you can't mess with Rhaenys. She was like, you're not the king and you can't tell me what to do. Bye. So anyway, that was my favorite scene. I think I'm going to enjoy this series, y'all. So anyway, that's all I got. Y'all get down in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Tell me which scene was y'all favorite. And until the next time, y'all. Peace.